In this video, let's talk a little bit about the holding call from James Bradberry on JuJu Smith-Schuster, and then talk about a Valentine's Day card that JuJu Smith-Schuster sent to James Bradberry on Twitter. But first, how about those? All right, well, this is gonna be a quick hitter video. Just found it interesting, and I wanted to talk about the end of the game holding call anyway, so this is just gonna be unscripted, off the cuff, and then we're gonna look at JuJu and what he sent to James Bradberry via a Valentine's Day card on Twitter. Lighthearted, funny, but did he take it too far? That's the question we're probably going to talk about, and then I'm going to ask you guys. But first, let's talk about this end of the game holding call on James Bradberry. A lot of people are looking at the second part of the quote-unquote hold after JuJu was already turned, but what I believe the flag was really thrown for was the first bit of the hold with Bradberry's right arm, where he actually pulls JuJu's jersey and kind of yanks him back. You can see his momentum stop. And actually, Cheffers was asked about this post-game, and he kind of doubled down on it. And we're not necessarily fans of Cheffers around here, even though the Chiefs are now, 9-11 with Cheffers as the head ref. But it is what it is. Officiating is inconsistent. I've been saying that from the beginning. One thing I have not done on this channel is blame the refs for a Chiefs loss, but the refs have messed up calls. They have been inconsistent in and out of every game, depending on the officiating crew. It's just very inconsistent. Then you have Roger Goodell coming out the other day at a presser saying officiating has never been better. So either he has a very low bar on how officiating should be, or it just really is better than ever. But I don't think it's that. I think the bar has been very low on the quality and the consistency of officiating across the league from game to game. And it just is what it is as far as what Roger said, and it is what it is as far as how the game ended. Now, what would have happened if that hold wasn't called? Well, it would have been fourth down. The Chiefs probably, more than likely, it was 3rd and long at that time. It would have been 4th and long, would have kicked a field goal. The Eagles would have had a chance with about a minute and a half-ish. I'm not checking notes here, but a minute and a half-ish to drive down the field with no timeouts and either score a field goal, a touchdown, or the Chiefs defense gets a stop. So yeah, 3 things could have happened. Chiefs defense stops them, game over. The Eagles tie it, they go into overtime, or the Eagles score and win the game. We will never know. Now, here's my thing about it all. It was a penalty, and I understand people are saying, well, even though it was technically a penalty, you cannot call a penalty like that in this situation. And I'm over here like, well, as a Chiefs fan, Dee Ford being offsides, 1 minute left in the 4th quarter of the 2018 AFC Championship game. Brady throws up a pass that was just off target, bounces off the hands of his intended target. Chiefs intercept it. It was fumbled out of bounds, but it would have been Chiefs' ball. Yet Dee Ford was lined up offsides or in the neutral zone. However, the penalty exactly was called and that played out. But that was with 1 minute left in the 4th quarter. So do you just say, well, yeah, that was a penalty, but you don't want a penalty to decide a game like that? And ultimately, that would have been game over. The Chiefs were up by 3 or 4 points. That pick would have basically sealed the game. Instead, they went into overtime. Tom Brady converted 3 or 4 3rd and 10s on that overtime drive and won the game. Now, is the blame on the officiating? I don't think so. I never really blamed the officials on that call. I just, to this day, have a bitter taste in my mouth towards the number 5-5. If he ain't offsides, no offense to Frank Clark. But yeah, Dee Ford, man, that was a tough one. And the Chiefs had way more chances to win that game than that one call not going their way. So, hey, end of the game situation, penalty called. Was it a penalty? Yeah. Could they have not called it? I mean, I suppose, but what are the officials supposed to do in that situation? So that's the AFC Championship game of 2018. We've been there, done that, seen that, ate it, took the loss, moved on. Now you've got the Super Bowl. The hold was called. Could it have not been called? Sure. But was it a penalty? Yeah, he yanked his jersey and you can see it. It was a hold. So it is what it is, right? That's why I think people need to move on, drink their calcium via milk, whatever form you prefer, and just get some stronger bones in your frail little bodies. You know, you got to move on and just accept it. It's a loss. The Chiefs won. Now, can the officiating be better? Sure. Could that call have maybe not been called? Yeah, but it was. And that's part of the game, man. I've been on both sides of this as a fan multiple times, and it just is what it is. Now, with all that being said, while you did have people online just making tons of excuses, saying rigged, the league is coddling Mahomes, blah, blah, blah. I mean, basically, those guys are just peasants, bottom of the barrel, cellar dweller losers. Their mindset is never going to change, and they probably live at home with their mother. Pete Schrager, he addressed this and said, hey, the real problem with the loss is not on the officiating. It's the fact that the Chiefs outscored the Eagles. I don't even know what it was in the fourth quarter. Was it 24-11, something like that? Actually, in the second half, not the fourth quarter. Something like 24-11 is what the Chiefs scored in the second half, and then 11 is what the Eagles scored. The Eagles could not stop the Chiefs, man. They scored 4 touchdowns, or would have scored 4, or the 5th, depending. Again, I'm not looking at my notes here, but where McKinnon took a knee down near the 1 or 2 yard line at the end of the game, that would have been another touchdown. So the Chiefs had their way, exposed them at least in the second half. When you look at the corn dog play with Kadarius Toney going in motion, then reversing for a wide open touchdown, and Sky Moore doing it on the next drive or so. Same play, it was flipped to the other side. Touchdown, great coaching, and hats off to the Chiefs staff on that. But dude, there was way more opportunities for the Eagles to win that game, and they could not get it done. So yeah, you can just blame officiating like a little toddler, like I addressed yesterday, or you can just own up like James Bradberry. He took accountability after the game. He said, it was a hold. I was hoping the refs would just kind of let it ride, let us play, but they didn't. It's not, my decision to say whether they were right or wrong. They're the ref. They call it. That's how they see it. And I accept that. I accept the outcome. Okay. So that was James Bradberry and his thoughts on it. And then he actually followed up on it today saying, I feel like I only had 2 options, really. I could take responsibility for it, or I could blame it on someone else. I try not to live that way. It comes from my mom and coaches in the past I've had taking accountability. So took it like a freaking winner. I mean, let's be honest. I know they lost, but he took it like a winner, like a leader, like an actual grown adult. Okay, so fast forward here a little bit later. Then you had JuJu, like everybody's posting these Valentine's Day cards on Twitter. JuJu said, happy Valentine's Day, everybody. And his card was of James Bradberry, and the message said, I'll hold you when it matters most. I mean, it is a troll. Is it funny? I mean, sure. But the fact that James Bradberry was out here just owning it like a grown man and saying, hey, it was my bad, I take the L like a man. And the fact that JuJu shared this, I don't know, to me, it's like, why kick the guy when he's down? After he handled it with class, I could see if he was a disrespectful D-bag and just went off about officiating, saying that they're weak, the Chiefs didn't deserve to win, blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, you want to troll him back like that? Okay. Now, am I tripping about this? No. I've had people on my Twitter just saying, hey, you need to relax, it's just a troll, and they're acting like I'm gonna lose sleep over it. I'm not gonna lose sleep over it. I'm just kind of like, I kind of wish JuJu, even though it was in good fun, I guess, I wish he would have more or less just taken the high road here. You do have a bunch of people responding to this tweet. You have Melvin Gordon responded saying, you say I'm hell, LMFAO, haha boy, you petty. Then you had Tyreek Hill responding with laughing emoji saying, yo, and he actually tagged Darius Slay and James Bradberry, and Darius Slay responded saying, weak AF, weak autofocus. It's all good though, they won. Then you had Darius Slay share it himself saying, come on now, brah, you doing too much. This other guy is an ESPN reporter, I believe, what is he? An ESPN NFL national reporter covering the Giants. He basically said, this is just kicking a man when he's down. Then you had A.J. Brown responding, saying, first off, congrats, JuJu, y'all deserve it. But this is lame. You was on the way out of the league before Mahomes resurrected your career on your 1-year deal, TikTok boy. He admitted that he grabbed you. Don't act like you're like that or ever was, but congratulations again. And then as I'm putting this video together, I did see that JuJu Smith-Schuster actually responded to A.J. Brown, kind of going off on him. JuJu said, glad you were able to finally get that off your chest after all these years. Good game, bro. Thumbs up, and then a ring emoji. He's definitely trolling here. He's trolling right back. AJ's kind of taking it personally and going after him. JuJu saying, glad you could get that off your chest. Good game. I got the freaking ring finger, okay? Then the Eagles safety, CJ Gardner-Johnson responded saying, I got more interceptions than bruh had TDs. Maybe I need to change to wide receiver. Not a bad response, but it keeps going. He then said, JuJu ran for me when I check him in game, yawn. Then 10 got his smoke. JuJu then responded with this video saying, yeah, I went to the sideline to call him. Then he responded again saying big cap. Also, I told you in the game to stop all that talking because we were going to come back and win that game. Now help me decide which finger I need to get sized for this ring. And if all that wasn't enough, Tyreek Hill weighed in on a couple more tweets saying, I gotta log off now. Juju is playing the victim. Patrick Mahomes, even later, then said, that man must be bored. And who he's talking about, I don't know. Was he talking about Juju? Was he talking about Tyreek? Was he talking about AJ Brown, which is the most likely? So yeah, I don't know exactly who he was talking about here, but it's safe to say that everybody is officially getting involved in this Twitter battle royale. And as of when I'm recording this video, James Bradberry hasn't responded. He's not actually super active on Twitter. I don't think he will. He did, although, tweet 40 minutes ago saying all pro hashtag APJB. And I'm not sure he's going to respond to it either way. I think that's just where I want to pass the question off to you guys. I gave my thoughts, gave you some thoughts from players on Twitter. Do you think Juju was fine to post this? I mean, obviously it's America. You can pretty much do and say what you want. But I guess more important question is, do you think it was needed? Especially considering the way James Bradberry handled the loss, handled the end of the game penalty like a grown freaking man. Yeah, what are your thoughts on JuJu Smith-Schuster and the Valentine's Day card? Again, I'm not really freaking out about it. I'm not tripping about it. But, you know, I think Andy Reid and company are normally above this kind of stuff, especially when you win and the player handles the loss with absolute class, unlike much of people out there as far as talking heads go, or little crybabies on Twitter with burner accounts that have no life. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below about the whole Juju thing. And yeah, parade is tomorrow. They're still celebrating. They are high on life. I don't know if Juju will regret sharing that. At the end of the day, it's not like he said anything hateful or malicious. It was just kind of poking fun and trolling on Valentine's Day with a Valentine's Day card to James Bradberry. That said, I'll hold you when it matters most. Again, some people even say Bradberry, he wasn't even targeting Bradberry. He was just more trolling the Eagles fan base. I don't know. This is kind of taking a shot at Bradberry in my opinion. But anyway, I've rambled on long enough. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And until next time, let's go. Let's freaking go. How about those?